The following is paid programming and does not necessarily reflect the opinions of KHTS or its ownership.
Welcome to the Ask Brien radio show, ASKBRIEN.com, live, 1220 AM and 98.1 FM. And for those of you who have not listened to the Ask Brien radio show before, and it's spelled ASKBRIEN.com, each week we interview a CEO or startup, somebody who can teach you and help you learn something about business. Each week that is our goal. The Ask Brien website is www.askbrien.com, and for that we have on our website, we have basically business community, where business community can ask and answer business questions for other people. We also have an expert section where experts, people that have at least 10,000 hours of time spent in a specific subject and have certain qualifications, are allowed to become experts. If you're an expert, you can then publish videos, publish ebooks, publish blogs, and also schedule your webinars. By scheduling your webinars, people can then come on at any time and listen to a webinar and get some sales thing. Now, I'm going to welcome my co-host, Mr. Alex Grossman. Are you there?
I am here, Mr. Brien Johnson. That was very exciting on a beautiful day in Southern California. Very good to be here.
I'm just so enthusiastic, and I'm very enthusiastic about our show, about the website, about you, and about our great guest. But before we go any further, I just wanted to, again, explain to people that Ask Brien Radio Show is here to help you grow your business, and we have a whole bunch of reality. If by going into the site at Ask Brien, you can find out a lot of information. I encourage everybody to do that as often as possible. It's a great site. Engage in it, use it, and you'll find a lot of things. We also shortly will be adding more features to the site, so I think that's a great thing. Now, our guest is basically has a new product, and she's had a lot of experience. Her name is Janine. Are you there, Janine?
Hi, yes I am. Hi, guys.
Did I pronounce your name correctly, Janine?
Yep. It's really Janine.
Janine.
Because I was born in Germany, but Janine is fine. That's the common pronunciation. Yes.
Well, I want to do your pronunciation, not the common one.
Oh, right.
Janine.
It's Janine then. Thank you. Yes.
All right, Janine. So, Janine, a couple questions for you. Before we get into the product and service that you're currently working on and working with, our listeners may want to get a little bit about your background. So we don't need to go back to your childhood years, but let's at least get through the business career. So where did you start
off?
It's a
long story.
Well, we've got an hour. So where did you start out in business?
I started out in business probably almost 10 years ago. By accident, really. I was a business analyst for a big corporation, and I have a background in marketing and business management. And I was always very, very interested about nutrition and health, and it was really almost my full-time hobby, where I would read all the books in the world, I would try all the diets, I would analyze food. I even had done it as a kid, just like see the consistency and how it works and what it's made of. And when I was 18 probably, I was a lot more curious about it, because I would really notice that my family and friends and people around me would get sick. And I just wanted to understand why that was happening. And I started understanding and learning the impact on food on your body and how you can heal yourself. So that sort of started happening. I was trying to replace naughty snacks like the Snickers bars and Mars bars and things that have a lot of artificial ingredients that can make you sick, and replace that with something that's really natural, has nothing artificial. And I started creating that that's how I accidentally ended up in my first business, because people would ask me for them. They would buy it off me. Retailers then started asking me of whether they could buy it and sell it in store. And I was just, I don't know. Can you? I have no idea. I had no retail experience. I had no food experience, manufacturing experience, none of that at that point.
What was the product? I'm
started
sorry.
building from there.
Can you?
Yeah, so it was a organic raw energy bar. So I started off with snacks, and then it turned into a bar shape where retailers could sell it on shelf. And it's prepackaged. It turned into convenient snack food.
And how did you? Okay, so initially I get it. You were selling it to your friends and family and anyone that's sort of eating it. You know, what is that? And I'll try it, whatever. How did you get your first distribution to get into somewhere? I mean, you were 18 years old at the time?
No, thank you though. I was 25 at that point. Yeah,
okay.
so almost. No, let me think. It's my birthday today, so it's 9 years ago.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Thank you so much.
We're honored to be interviewing you on your birthday. How fantastic!
Yeah, well, I'm honored to be here and spend it with you. Thank you. Yeah, so given I had no experience in the industry at all, I had to learn it all from scratch. So I did everything. I would produce the products myself. I would do all the R&D and the product development. I had a whole manufacturing line in my home first, in my studio apartment in Bondi Beach in Australia and Sydney. And then I would build it up to a bigger kitchen. And we did all the, we had to understand the margins, what sort of profit we had. We had to grow from, okay, I need more people. How much does every and each person have to produce for us to have an ROI and can reinvest more money into growth? Understand distribution, warehousing, those sort of costs, online, how do you do e-commerce? So we spent about, I had then by that time had a team. I spent about 12 months doing everything myself, which is extremely exhausting. So I had a point where I said, I need to find someone to help me produce this or I'm out because it's not sustainable. So I found a manufacturer that could do larger amounts of products, but small enough for me just to cover a city. So at that time, I was only doing the city space of Sydney and maybe small orders to other cities around Australia. And then I started approaching a distributor that I wanted to work with. They covered all of Australia. And I asked them, okay, can I work with you? What would that look like? So I changed my entire business model and mapped it out. I did a forecast based on, okay, so if we want to make this model work, these are the margins that we need, and this is what we have to sell online. So we just grew it really from there. And within a year, we already made $1 million in revenue Australia-wide. And it just grew from there sporadically.
Well, that's exciting. How did you first approach a manufacturer and then a distributor? I mean, it wasn't like you Googled who manufactures, prebiotic, sugar-free, gut-healthy food, right? I mean, how did you find this? What process did you go about getting someone?
Yeah, at that point, it wasn't about sugar-free or prebiotic, and it wasn't that sort of product because it was date-based. It was really about a clean energy bar, and that was just based off fruit and nuts. I was looking for a manufacturer that was making muesli bars, so it was aligned with what we were doing, but it wasn't competitive. So I approached someone that already did it. And because they don't advertise themselves, manufacturers are not out on websites say, hey, we produce, come and produce with us. You really have to find them through your networking channels, or you have to do a little bit of digging. But yeah, they were very happy to do some product development with us and make sure we can upscale it on a larger production line. Although it was quite tricky at the beginning because we needed different machinery. It was a very gooey consistency rather than what muesli products are. So yeah, we made that happen. And same with the distributors. We had, as long as you have your vision right, you know what your values are, you know what your product is, they can see that you can market it and you can support them in their distribution channels. They're very happy to work with you.
So it all comes down to the persistence, the reason you're a successful entrepreneur, right? You're persistent to get it done, and you use your outgoing personality to make it happen, and probably didn't take no for an answer. And I'm sure you didn't get the first one you approached, right? You had to go to several, or were you able to be lucky enough to land that first one?
We are quite fortunate that there was one distributor I wanted to work with, and they wanted to work with us. But from my experience over the last 9-10 years, it's really been about you have to know who you are. You have to know what your brand is, who you are as your brand, what your niche is, where you're fitting in. You have to have a really strong brand, communicate with your consumers. It's really about that marketing and media aspect as well. How do you support your retailers? How do you support your distributors? Yes, you pay them to work with them, or they receive a margin to do that, but they still need support from your end as well, because we are the brand. We are the brand, and we communicate with consumers. They look at us. We are the best people to communicate to the consumers who we are and what we do and where they can find us and why. Why should they be eating our products? So enough to communicate that.
So common to any business, it's always about building the brand and making sure people understand the brand, and then doing the marketing around it to get it out, get the word out, and continue to make people understand that you're the best. And then, of course, I think the product has to be good as well, right? That's what was able to take you to the next level.
Absolutely. I talk about a storyline. So as a product itself, even if you're a service business and you have an online presentation, you have to have a certain brand story in place so people know why they want you. And for us, it's the 3-second rule on the shelf. There are so many products out there. Our product range with Gutsy right now is extremely unique. So we are quite fortunate. We have something on the market that no one else has. And there's a lot of demand, which definitely helps. But once we're on the shelf, people don't know that. If we're really new and they don't look for us, they see us on the shelf just like any other product, and they look at the products, and it has to, first visually, it has to be very different to what else is out there, so it stands out, and it has to tell a story. It has to be attractive. So our packaging, our colors, our marketing is very strong, and it's very unique. It's very funky, which is very different, and people usually tend to pick it up. They read it. Oh, great. It's we're also quite quirky, so we say something like, it's a sexy dark Swiss because it's dark chocolate made in Switzerland. It's a prebiotic. Most people know what a probiotic is, so it's quite intriguing. Oh, what is a prebiotic? It's an excellent source of dietary fiber. People know now what fibers is and why they need to consume it. They have quirky names on them, so we use artist names, musicians or music, very 80s and a bit more fun focused. And then they see all the benefits. It meets most of dietary requirements. It's vegan, it's keto-friendly, it's low sugar, it has no added sugar at all and no artificial sweetness, nothing artificial, very few ingredients. So it's intriguing. It's telling a story. And then people wanting to understand more what the brand is. So we're a business for good. We work with charities around the world. So part of our profits go towards that. We stand for something. We have our certain values. We stand for gut health. We want to make sure people's dietary requirements are met. And we're also making sure that it's a nice consumer experience. So the consistency has to be right. So it has to have a very nice mouthfeel, and the flavor's got to meet people's standards. So it is high quality, and it has to be affordable and available.
Well, I think Brien and I can both agree that you definitely know your pitch and know your product. And I think it's probably why I noticed that between the years of 2013 and 2019, you won 12 awards. And you have a top award in Australia this year as well. I saw that as, if I recall right, that award was top Australian woman making a difference. That's pretty incredible. So,
thank you so much. You're a good publicist, Alex. You have a calling for that. Do you currently own the business 100%, or do you have other people involved in the company?
I have other people involved. I own 60% of the company, and I have two business partners, Tamara Lower and Emily Diamond. It's all female-owned. We're a very fun bunch of Australian women that run the business.
Wow.
Yeah, and we'll have a few small shareholders as well.
Yeah, credit where credit is due. It's not easy starting a business, and it's definitely not easy, bucking the odds to make it as successful as you've made it. So there's no doubt about that. Did you have your partners when you started the business, or did you guys come together for a common reason? I think a lot of our listeners always like to know, what I do it all myself, but what does a partner bring to my business, or what do other people bring in when I give them ownership?
Yeah, you know what? For me, it was so the first product, which was the shake, I already had developed before we got together. So that was something that I made for myself because I had gut problems. I had food intolerances and a lot of them. So I needed to create something for myself that was convenient in the morning because I've always had businesses. I've always been busy and travel a lot. So I had to have something convenient with me every day to take. So that was already developed and fine-tuned before I met the lady. So Tamara, I met first. She was part of an entrepreneurs organization we've all been part of in Australia, and we were introduced to each other because she was working in wellness and food at that time in a different state, and we met and we just got on like a house on fire. We were like sisters from different misses, and we just loved each other. It was love at first sight. I was actively looking for business partners. I didn't want to do the journey by myself. It's a very, very lonely road if you do. I've been on that road before, and this business is so amazing and so fun and so impactful on people, their health, and I'm so passionate about it. And I wanted to work with people I would enjoy that with. We can have fun with, we can support each other, rely on each other, be there in the highs and lows. And I found that in Tamara, and then through Tamara, I met Emily. Emily used to be Tamara's business coach, and we all got together for a strategy session just to see whether our values were aligned, and we did an exercise called the 9 boxes, and we knew if we can all meet in those 9 boxes and we all have our values aligned, we knew we could run a business together, and we all have different backgrounds. So I understand marketing and I have a lot to say about it, but I'm definitely not an expert and it's not something I should be focusing on. So I wanted to make sure I knew exactly what my strengths were, and then the things that don't drive me or don't excite me too much, and I get someone in who has that strength. So Tamara has a 20-plus year marketing experience. She had agencies before. She's worked with a lot of large brands. And for her, it's great. It's fun. She's such a creative, and she's just absolutely phenomenal in it. So that was fantastic. And Emily, I also have a nutritional and coaching background. I did a degree separately in that while I was running my first business. But Emily has a nutritional medical background as well. She's a great writer. She's doing a lot of the blogs, a lot of the content creation. And, it just aligned really well. We're such a great team.
So
yeah, you do a lot of marketing here. You call Emily your nerd, and you call Tamara, you call her your marketing magician. So I guess that sounds like a good team.
Yes, we're a fabulous team. They're actually all with me in Los Angeles at the moment. We have just come back from the world's largest health food exhibition in Anaheim, in California, called Expo West. So I had my whole team with me. Six people from Australia had flown in to come be with me at the show, and it was amazing. It was just great to have everyone here.
So this is a trade show, correct?
It's a trade show. There's 3,500 businesses that showcase at that trade show. 100,000 people, individuals, business and specifically for that industry, individuals that come to that show over 5 days.
So is that where you find distributors?
They come find you. That's what the show is for. Expo West happens once a year. There's also an Expo East in Baltimore in September, which is slightly, probably about half the size. But they come to you. So distributors from every angle of the world, and specifically America, of course, you exhibit, they will come to you and they will approach you, and then you build a relationship and they'll buy from you. It's the once a year where everyone goes.
So did you started this business in Australia, or did you not start it until you came to the U.S.?
Yeah, we started in Australia in February 2018. And we pretty much straight away started analyzing and traveling through America, researching the space. And I then made my move to America in July 2018 and to build it. And I have done it since. We're now working with CVS, not internationally. And, we're just, it's been absolutely amazing.
You mentioned these 9 boxes of, I guess, how you determine whether or not you're a good fit.
Mm-hmm.
Is there is that like a modeling system or a testing system? What is this 9 boxes?
Yeah, it's a value strategy session. So you're really thinking about where do you want the business to go. So you talk about where are you now, what is the business, and then where do you want to exit. It's about everyone's expectations. So some people build a business to just live in it. They want to do it their whole life. They want to grow it. They want to hand it over to their kids. They want to make it a family business for life. Or do you want it to be a business that's hitting the market really quickly and you want to exit and then potentially do something else? What are your values? How do you want to grow it? Where do you want to go? So for me, it was also, okay, where do we want to take the business? Do we want to take it internationally, or do we just want to stay in Australia? What do we stand for? And it was always very clear for us. We wanted to be business for good. We wanted to give back. We wanted to educate. We wanted to communicate with people. And also, what are the products? So for us, it was always, it had to be a good consumer experience. It had to taste good. It had to be the best quality. It had to be the cleanest. It had to be great value, had to be affordable and convenient. So all these things, that's what the business is.
We're going to have to take a break, and we'll be right back.
Fabulous.
Do you ever listen, but you're not really paying attention? Sort of like what you're doing to me right now. This is Alex Urbina, your advanced life coach specialist. One of the most frequent questions I hear is, what is a life coach? Well, tune in every Friday at noon to learn the value of having a coach and listen to a live coaching session on the radio. Right here on your hometown station, KHTS.
Olive Terrace Bar and Grill is the hottest new Mediterranean fusion restaurant in Santa Clarita with unique delicacies like seafood right off the boat, mouth-watering prime steaks, artesian sandwiches, delicious pastas, and tasty kebabs. Unwind on their cozy outdoor patio at their weekend champagne brunch, full menu, and weekly specials at oliveterracebarandgrill.com. Check out their full bar and happy hour daily specials in Valencia on Copper Hill and Newhall Ranch Road by LA Fitness. Olive Terrace Bar and Grill, delicious food seasoned with love.
Finding the right lawyer can be a challenge, but in Santa Clarita, there's no need to search when there's Hacker Law Group, Santa Clarita's premier litigation firm. Jeffrey Hacker has represented celebrities, financial institutions, accident victims, real estate developers, realtors, contractors, businesses, nonprofit organizations, and other individuals and companies with their legal challenges. Mr. Hacker is one of Santa Clarita's leaders, consistently listed as one of our most influential. When everything is on the line and you need legal counseling, visit hackerlawgroup.com.
If you have a business problem, if someone doesn't honor their agreement and you need an aggressive attorney with over 27 years experience, the Law Office of Peter Bronstein has helped partners resolve disputes, franchisees resolve disputes, and other business owners who have a challenge. Let the Law Office of Peter Bronstein take your stress away. Visit lacorporateattorney.com. Don't wait too long and lose your rights. Solve your business challenge problem today. Visit lacorporateattorney.com.
Imagine a 100% maintained solar energy system with no out-of-pocket expense. Imagine a solar company with big corporate experience here in Santa Clarita. made up of experts who live and work in our valley. Find out how simple it is to reduce your energy expenses now with a free consultation from HomeLink Solar. We are your neighbors. HomeLink Solar, your home better, your life better. Visit HomeLinkPros.com to find out how you can save with solar with no out-of-pocket expense.
Welcome back to the Ask Brien radio show, AskBrien.com, and we're at 1220 AM and 98.1 FM. And we have our typical show today with our co-host, Alex Grossman. And our...
I think it's better than typical there, Brien, today. It's a great show.
I'm trying to, if I'm boxing, you gotta, every once in a while, you're expecting the big punch, I'm going to give you the little soft one, and then you're expecting the soft one, I'm going to give you the big one. That's my approach. And then we have Janine. Am I pronouncing your name correctly? Janine?
Yes, that's correct. Thank you.
Okay. We were on the air, and I had to cut you off because my engineer was making faces to me, and I was making faces back, and his face was bigger than mine, so he won out.
That's okay.
So we were talking about these 9 boxes, which is basically a concept, a modeling system whereby you can determine whether or not you're a good fit for your potential partners, and potential partners, I'm guessing, not just in business, but in anything in life. And so do you know what the name of that modeling system is, that or business model that tells you about your partners, or where somebody could find out that information?
I know that there's some information similar to that online. I'm part of a global entrepreneurs organization, and we get exercises like that sent to us based on business models to help us grow. So I'm not exactly sure if that's available online as such. I would have to find out. But effectively, it's a model around the potential of the business and performance based. And you ask certain questions in different boxes around values and where you want to take the business. And it's usually about a half a day exercise that you do with all the key people in the business to ensure that everyone is on the same page to grow the business. But I have to find out the details.
And what was the name of that global organization?
It's in short, it's called EO, and it stands for Entrepreneurs Organization. It's a global non-for-profit organization that's run by members. It has a board in every chapter. A chapter is a city. There's about 170 chapters globally with over 13,000 members. And there's a global board, and it also has a bunch of staff in Washington, D.C., so it's run by people, but all the chapters are managed and run by its members.
Excellent, and we'll get that information. We'll include it on our websites for anyone that wants to get access to that. Is that available to anybody, or are there criteria to join?
There's a criteria. There's it's for businesses that turn over $1 million per year in revenue, and then it also has values. So you have to meet those values. They're always making sure there's like-minded people that go into this. You have to be bold. You have to be respectful. There's no judgment in this organization. There's also non-solicitory rules, so we don't sell to each other. It's all about empowerment, empowering each other, building a community and the network, and we're just there to support one another. Honestly, it's a big happy family. I have moved continents, and they really are my LA family. They're looking after me. We're looking after each other. When someone is going through some challenges, there's always everyone there trying to help. It's really amazing. But there's also for businesses that have less revenue, they also have a program called Accelerator. It's not like an accelerator that most people think. So they don't take equity. You pay a small fee, and you're part of it over a 1-year cycle, and you can renew. That's for businesses that turn over more than $250,000 up to $1 million, and then you can join the EO program afterwards if you like. And you learn things like there's training days, there's learning days, but you learn everything around strategy, execution, people, and cash to build your business and to help it grow and to accelerate it very fast to get to that $1 million point. Because usually, most of the time, once you hit the $1 million mark, it gets a lot easier. You just need that support to grow it much bigger and to know the right people to work with to grow it quite fast.
So you can graduate from that program to the other program. Is that correct? So
That's correct.
So I'm making
yes.
$250,000 a year. Then you get all the mentors, and you find out, oh my God, we're $2 million. Now you join the other program.
Yes, you definitely have coaches. There's accountability groups. So you meet up once a month. There's people with you in there. There's learning days. So speakers who have done it before, they come and train you. There's training days. You also have access to mentors. You can sign up to a mentorship program that doesn't cost any extra, and you get partnered with a mentor that helps you grow your business as well. Yes.
Well, that's pretty interesting. So you can actually be mentored and not have to. It's basically getting a business coach for nothing.
Exactly. So you pay a yearly fee, depending on the chapters and the cities. But in most cities, they have a chapter and also an accelerator program. So most people have access to those sort of programs. Yes.
Excellent. Now, you said your first product was energy related, and then you got into this probiotic unsweetened product. What made you make the switch, and how did you make that switch?
Yeah, so when I came from organic raw energy bars, I started working a lot more with not exactly functional but cleaner products. Let's just say meeting more dietary requirements. So for me, I've always got involved with products that would meet my own needs. So I developed all sorts of different health challenges over time. Part of that was I became insulin resistant. It's not diabetes, so I didn't have that reaction, but I could feel my body having a reaction to sugar. Sugar in any shape or form, whether it's processed sugar, whether it's honey, whether it's fruit, anything that had any type of sugar-related ingredient, I could not eat. I would feel horrible. I feel fatigued. I usually have to go to bed. And also women in particular have a lot of water storage because the body can't process it. And it's almost like quite toxic. So I started researching that a lot more. And at that time, I was working with some chocolate companies in Switzerland and Belgium. I was doing some distribution work in Asia Pacific, and I worked with some people in Hong Kong and in Europe as well. And I just thought, you know what? People like me, and because I talked about it a lot, other people would tell me the same thing. Yeah, I have these problems. I have digestive problems. I have health problems. I have sugar problems. Like there's just too much sugar in everything. And we're not meant to eat so many carbohydrates and sugar like most people consume. It's a lot for the body to process. There's got to be some sort of balance between good fats and protein as well. And unfortunately, the industry or the food industry is quite confusing and misleading to consumers to tell them what's good and what's not. Most of the time, anything that's filled with carbohydrates and sugar is just a really cheap product with a very high margin to producers. And there's no education around to consumers for them to clearly understand what's better for them and what's not. And there's no diet that fits anyone either. So anyway, long story short, I thought, how great would it be if some snacks like chocolate, for example, that everyone loves eating, could actually be healthy. Because yes, there are some brands out there that say, oh, hey, we have no sugar in it, we fill it up with artificial sweetness. And it's just not a nice experience. I tried all the products under the sun, and I always thought, you know what, I love it, and I will eat it because if I want chocolate, I will eat it, but it's just not nice. It has an aftertaste. It's grainy. It's just like, oh, you know what, like even me, yes, there, but I really want to enjoy something. So there was one factory in particular I was working with in Switzerland, and I challenged them and said, look, this recipe, I would like to make that a chocolate. And they said to me, here's a fun fact. Chocolate without sugar is not chocolate. We can't make this. There's actually a law in Switzerland that says a chocolate that is not made with sugar cannot be called chocolate. So we wouldn't be able to sell the chocolate in Switzerland without sugar.
So you can't have sugar-free chocolate?
You cannot. Well, you can't have the sugar. No, you cannot. Not in Switzerland.
Wow.
Everywhere else in the world it is a chocolate, but not in Switzerland. But also, no one has ever made a chocolate before that didn't have the dairy or the sugar, and we effectively replaced it with dietary fiber, with the prebiotic inulin fiber. That has never been done before. It changes everything, and it changes the whole science around what chocolate is, the whole production process, the temperatures. So we produce the chocolate on a 5-kilometer long production line that takes 96 hours to produce the chocolate, because the cacao bean is very bitter. Cacao is very bitter. Most people think cacao is sweet. It's not. It's the sugar and the dairy that makes it sweet and creamy. Cacao is extremely bitter. And there's also, there's all these different countries you can buy cacao from, and they all taste slightly different. So we have a combination of Ecuadorian and Peruvian chocolate that we also roast. The roasting process makes a difference to the chocolate. And we're making sure that we take the acid levels out what cocoa beans are, so it doesn't taste bitter. And we fill it with dietary fiber. Now, dietary fiber is not a sugar in any means. Fiber is actually a non-digestible carbohydrate, which means it's not a sugar and it's also not a carbohydrate. It's counted as a carbohydrate on the nutritional information panel, but it's not. So the body doesn't actually process it or take it on as a sugar or as a carbohydrate. So there's no calories. It just goes straight through you pretty much. It helps you digest. And it's the food that nourishes your good gut bacteria. So, yeah, we've done that. It effectively, 1 bar, is also a fun fact, covers 40% of your daily recommended dietary fiber intake. So if you feel a bit naughty one day and you don't feel like eating your broccolis or vegetables for the day, you can literally just have a chocolate bar and don't feel bad about yourself. And what it does, the dietary fiber, is actually quite sweet in a way. So it balances out the consistency and the smoothness with slight sweetness to the chocolate.
Well, you've sold me on it. I, during the break, went onto Amazon and bought some of it. So just so you know, I'm a little poor now. But I'm sure it's going to be really incredibly good. So.
Oh, thank you. I'd love to hear what you think. Let me know.
Well, and now you can have chocolate every day for the next week and not have broccoli.
Well, Brien, you're getting some as soon as I see you next, so don't feel bad.
No, so it's really meant to be a very, very healthy and fun addition to a balanced diet. We don't want to be mere replacements. We don't want people to think that they now can have chocolate all day long. It's just a very, very good alternative.
How do you get the taste when it has no sugar and no milk?
It's the secret is really in the production process. 96 hours of precision and making sure the temperatures are right. So it's really 5 kilometers long. It goes through different pipes, and there's one process where it takes 48 hours just to dough. I call it the doughing process, where you really get the consistency right, and then it goes through the pipes to make sure that the acid level's been taken out. Fun fact is our chocolate is effectively 98% cacao. Technically, that's what it is. And we don't advertise it because people will assume that it's very bitter and very dry and really grainy and powdery, but it's not. It's most people don't know what a prebiotic or dietary fiber is or what it means. It is a dark chocolate, but even when you look at it, it's not black like cacao would be. It's a very nice dark brown. So yeah, it's the production.
Yeah, I'm just saying, because if people eat chocolate, sometimes they eat chocolate because it's sweet and it tastes great, right? So if you have chocolate and it doesn't have that sweetness to it, I'm trying to understand what is attractive to people that they say, wow, I need to try this.
Yeah, it is sweet though. It tastes exactly like a 65-70% chocolate bar that most people would have without the 30-40% of sugar that those chocolate bars would have. We replace that sugar with dietary fiber. I know it makes your head spin, but it's you have to try it. We've had 10,000s of people have this, and we've done so much. You can go on our website, read about it. You can go on Facebook. We've done plenty of live tastings, so people can see what the reactions are. And most of the time, I don't tell anyone it doesn't have sugar or artificial sweetness, and most people just think it's a really good dark chocolate.
Now, you said you're selling it at CVS. Are there any other stores that people can get that at?
There's a lot of independent health food stores, although we have a lot more coming in the next few months. We're expanding quite broadly across America and Canada as well very soon, probably in the next 3 months or so. So we will share all of that information on our website and on our social media pages.
And what is your website?
It's gutsy.com, which is GUTSII.com.
And you're in Australia and the United States. Are you in other countries?
Yeah, we're launching in New Zealand in 2 months. And we're also about to go to Canada, and we're talking to a few others. So there's some talks with Europe. There's some talks with Britain, with the UK, and also Taiwan and the Czech Republic and Mexico too. But we see. There's a lot happening, but we're really focusing on Canada, America, Australia, and New Zealand.
What about Switzerland?
Switzerland, they, you know what?
It's not chocolate there.
Swiss chocolate.
It's Swiss-made chocolate, and it's really funny. We've been approached a lot of times from people wanting to buy the chocolate in Switzerland, but yeah, there's still this law out that because it doesn't have sugar, it's not a chocolate. So we would have to change the packaging and call it something else but chocolate.
What is the name of the product?
It's Gutsy prebiotic chocolate.
So what do we call it?
It's really, if you check the packaging out, it's really kind of uplifting, exciting packaging, and comes in some different flavors. So it looks, as you say, yummy and smooth. So we're gonna find out. I'll be your taste tester on the Ask Brien radio program because I'll probably eat it all before we give it to Brien. That's for sure.
Excuse me? Excuse me? That's our entire arrangement, Alex. Now the whole audience knows. The whole reason why I have this show.
We'll get you a shake, okay?
That's fabulous.
So we're going to be stepping out for a little break, and then we're going to come back for about another 9 minutes to finish up the show. You've been listening to Ask Brien on 1220 and 98.1 FM. I love the and because I'm from New York. We'll be right back.
Healthcare can be difficult if you're underinsured or have Medi-Cal. Samuel Dixon Family Health Center can help. Services are available on a sliding fee schedule. The mission of the Samuel Dixon Family Health Center is to give the Santa Clarita Valley access to affordable, quality primary care. There are 3 locations to serve you: Canyon Country, Newhall, and Valverde. Go to sdfhc.org for more information and to find the location most convenient for you.
Who says nothing good happens after midnight? Denny's is best known for their breakfast served round the clock, like the Grand Slam. But you can enjoy breakfast, lunch, or dinner in a casual atmosphere 24/7. At Denny's, the lunch and dinner menu has a variety of appetizers, craveable burgers, salads, and entrees, along with the best desserts in town. Wherever you live in Santa Clarita, there's a Denny's close by. If you're pulling an all-nighter or don't feel like cooking, get into Denny's today. Good stuff is happening at Denny's.
If you have a business problem, if someone doesn't honor their agreement and you need an aggressive attorney with over 27 years experience, the Law Office of Peter Bronstein has helped partners resolve disputes, franchisees resolve disputes, and other business owners who have a challenge. Let the Law Office of Peter Bronstein take your stress away. Visit lacorporateattorney.com. Don't wait too long and lose your rights. Solve your business challenge problem today. Visit lacorporateattorney.com.
Welcome to the Ask Brien Show. The following is paid programming and does not necessarily reflect the opinions of KHTS or its ownership.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM. You're listening to the Ask Brien radio show. And we got our co-host, Alex Grossman. I have to change that around a little bit. And our great special guest, Janine from...
Thank you.
Can I tell everybody where you're from?
Yes, of course.
From Germany. originally. But
then
through Australia to the U.S., and who knows where next. We'll find that out.
I'm very happy here right now.
We should. It's the greatest country on earth. All right, so getting back to where we were. So if I'm a business owner, or not even a business owner, I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm in the kitchen, and I'm making something, and I think that this could be really, really good, and people would want to actually get my recipe or get my food or whatever products I'm doing, what would you tell people to do?
I tell them, someone asked me that question yesterday. I tell them...
It wasn't me, though. But go ahead.
It wasn't you. I remember that. You have to know who you are. Most of the time when you're an entrepreneur and you love something, you create it because you love it and you know exactly what you want it to be. And it's so easy to get sidetracked by everyone else to tell you what they think it should be. And because you want attention and you want distribution and you want to make everyone happy, most people tend to just do that, to get distracted and try to product to be everything. And it can't. You have to find your niche. You have to know exactly who you are and stand your ground. Just to say, you know what, we've been pitching the other day to a very, very large company. And I said, this is exactly what it is. This is what you can have. And they said to me, can you put milk in it? And I said, no, we can't, because that's not who we are. We're a gut health brand. Milk is not good for your gut. This is what does to your gut. This is what we focus on. So it's not, you cannot be distracted by what your brand is, because then it gets very confusing and you try to do everything and it will all fall apart eventually because you lose yourself in the message. It's very important for your customer to know who you are, to know that they align with your values, what you stand for. You have to stand for something. You can't just be a product and say, oh, look, I've got these snacks. And they're a bit of everything. Some are plant-based, but some are not. Some have artificial things in there, but some are not. And it's just confusing because once consumers or people fall in love with your brand and what you stand for, they get really confused when it's something else and they can't buy everything. Because you build a community. People start listening to you. They start trusting you. They like your brand. They follow it. They understand what it stands for. So that's why we did the 9 boxes as well. It's about your values. What do you stand for? Who are you? What do you want to do with the business? And you just stick to that. It makes life and business so much easier as well.
Now, how do you get the word out to the public?
It's your brand. So there's a few things you really have to focus on. It's the look and feel of it. It's got to look appealing. It's got to be something that resembles you, reflects you. Marketing has to be very strong. So it's when you have a product, it's got to be the packaging. If you're a service business, it has to be online or the website, or if you're community-based, you just got to get out there. So if you have a business that's very community-focused, get out there, go to events, talk about it, tell people. Again, it comes down to your values. You really have to communicate what your values are. And the branding, it's got to be very clear, very clean, easy to access. Most people are so busy, they will not read 3 pages of stories and content on your website. Even blogs, if you like sharing content online, because people like values, they will look for it. They will read those blogs. They've got to be short. Put five points in there, 5 paragraphs. But the branding is very important, and you have to resemble all those values on your branding as well. So be very clear to understand. But once you hit a point where your business is, for us, for example, where it's really important to get out there and you want to sell, it's really media. We're really focusing on spreading the word, telling people, value adding. So we're telling them what the products are, as well as educating them on business or health. I'm very passionate about educating on health. So I like to give. I like to expose things. I like to empower people with snacks and education and call out the truth and just be really vulnerable and honest to our consumer base, to our followers, people in business, and just the general consumers. And it's just being out there, just spreading the word and talk and just align with people that support you and that you'd like to spend time with. I know it sounds probably a little bit complicated, but it's very simple. It's just, again, it comes down to those main boxes, what your values are, and the rest will just fall into place from there. You just stick to those.
So how does a company create its values?
It's really yourself. It's really about who you are. So most people will create a business because that's what they love. It's their purpose. They love what they do. They would not be entrepreneurs if they didn't love what they do. Being an entrepreneur seems quite glamorous to a lot of people because you get freedom with your time, and you can be in most places where most people have to be in the office from 9 to 5.
But you don't have any time if you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah, exactly. So you really work 18-hour days. It's your life. You're very busy. It's not easy at all. There's a lot of highs and lows, and it's really misunderstood most of the time what entrepreneurialism really means. But it's you, because you give yourself into the business. You have to think about, what are my values? What do I stand for? What do I believe in? And that's reflective of your brand. And it's just a simple exercise of, think about 5 things that you want your brand to be, that you align with who you are, and you stick to those. Whether it's business for good is one for us. That's what we wanted. We wanted to give back. We wanted to have an impact on the world and do great business. It's empowering people in education is another one that I really believe in. It's integrity and honesty. It's the people that we work with. I will not, if someone would come to me and say, look, I'll give you $10 million tomorrow, and you can put that in your business, and I only want 5%. I wouldn't do that. I've done that in the past, not with $10 million, but I had business partners before that didn't align with my values, and it just turns into a really bad experience, and it's not enjoyable, and it's just not worth it. You want to enjoy what you do, and money can't pay for that. So those values are really important to understand, that you work with people, whether it's business transactions or business partner relationships, that they align with you.
We have about 20 seconds. So what were the other part of the 5?
It's really based on everyone else. So for us is, we don't exactly have 5, but we have our certain values as well. So I would just say, you focus on your 5, and you find out 5 is a really good start to understand what it means to you.
And that unfortunately, that's all, folks. And I'm not Bugs Bunny, but that's all, folks.